Life is just better with the top down, don't you think? Hi there, I'm Rick Jabrul. Welcome to our Barrett-Jackson Top 10 series. And today we're looking at the top 10 convertible sales from the inaugural Barrett-Jackson collector car auction in Houston, Texas. And it was quite a collection. From Cudas to Corvettes, we even had a Ferrari in there. So let's get straight to it. And the first one, the number 10 sale of the auction, turned out to be a 1971 Plymouth Barracuda Custom. Up on the block right now is a car that was previewed just a little while ago, a 1971 Plymouth Barracuda.
Well, you got to remember, there were 7 Hemi Cuda Convertibles built in 1971. This is not one of them. This is a clone. This was born a G-code 318 two-barrel, a very rare car. Only 1,388 convertibles made, but it's been upgraded. And how? With a 525 cubic inch Hemi packing 2 Holley 4-barrel carburetors on a Stage 5 Ratbuster intake manifold. So really just a nice reimagining of a very rare car.
Now the billboard stripes on this are not custom. You could get these as an option on your Cuda. And if it had a 340 or a 440, those displacement numbers would be here. Of course, if it had a Hemi, everybody would know.
And the rocker covers on this are from Stage 5 Engineering in Walnut, California, where I worked for about 4 years for Eric Hansen, polishing, reaming, cutting, all that kind of stuff. I cut my teeth literally in the world of the machine shop working for Stage 5, but they make great products, as does Mopar Performance. Now the rear wheel openings on this one have been enlarged quite a bit to fit those massive 22 or so inch rims, but otherwise it's a great melding of original cues and hot rodding cues.
I mentioned earlier that we had the ability to have Barrett-Jackson bidders do it here in the building, over the internet or over the phone. You see the woman in the upper right-hand corner. She is handling a phone bidder, apparently feeling more comfortable, wanting to know that they've got somebody on the phone they can talk to. She's the liaison, that middle person. She talks to the bidder and lets them know where the bid is and whether it's time to go up. And that just sold for $105,000 here at Barrett-Jackson. That is now the number 1 sale of the day in Houston, selling over the telephone. The number 9 convertible sale from Houston turned out to be something just a little more exotic. In this case, it was a 2010 Ferrari California convertible. 453 horsepower out of that 32-valve engine. Put the top down, you can move. On the block right now, a 2010 Ferrari California convertible.
Now this was Ferrari's first entry-level car in a long time, and it was a good one. A lot of people don't call these real Ferraris, but I think it is. V8 under the hood, 460 horsepower, a power folding top, which was nice. You got all-season driving. This one, Daytona seats, and it has a rear seat. Not much room back there, but you can still haul the kids in this thing.
Yeah, Ferrari introduced this, and I hate to use the word entry-level for a Ferrari. You know, it has the V8 very similar to the mid-engine cars of the day. Ferrari also was building V12 GTs, but they wanted to reach the Porsche 911 crowd and, you know, the BMW 850 crowd and similar. So they came out with this. The folding hardtop disappears in the trunk and makes the tail look kind of ungainly. It is not aided by the vertical stacked exhaust pipes. All of that would be corrected in the California's successor, the current Portofino drop top and Roma coupe.
And you can see that these are actually not the brake lights, and that's due to federal regulation. Something that moves like a top or a trunk has to be illuminated somewhere that's fixed. So that's why the brake light is down here. The quad tip exhaust is really cool, and the transmission's actually mounted in the back as well. Dual clutch.
$110,000 for a 2010 Ferrari California convertible. From modern European exotic to American classic iron, the number 8 sale for convertibles in Houston, Texas turned out to be a 1957 Pontiac Bonneville convertible.
1957 Pontiac Bonneville convertible, one of only 630 built in 1957, has a 347 cubic inch V8 engine, Rochester mechanical fuel injection, and factory rating of 315 horsepower. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 8.1 seconds with a top speed of 101.6.
and only 630 were built. Every single one of them had fuel injection. Yep, Rochester fuel injection. The big wild card is that it's not the same item used on Corvettes in 57, which had a cast aluminum structure. These are handmade steel tubes, and the hood is closed on this one, unfortunately, but it's a very different setup than the Rochester fuel injection used on Corvette. Incredibly rare. Only 630 of these things built.
Yes, and the reason they came up with that number is because there were 630 dealers around the country. So essentially, every one of the dealers got one of these. The price was huge. I mean, it was almost twice what the Star Chief had cost the convertible before this. And that engine underneath the hood, all said and done, 315 horsepower.
$125,000. Hammers that 57 Pontiac Bonneville sold.
Before we get to our number 7 convertible sale from Houston, Texas, don't forget to click and subscribe and give us your comments. We want to know what you thought was the coolest convertible to cross the block. So what was number 7? Turned out to be a 1970 Chevy Chevelle. This one was a custom big 454. This one will really blow your hair back.
1970 Chevrolet Chevelle custom convertible, completely restored to show quality standards top to bottom. Frame off rotisserie restoration was completed in 2020, and it's had less than 400 miles since it was completed.
Sold $130,000.
The number 6 convertible sale from Houston, Texas had a little star power behind it. It was a 1967 Corvette. This one had a 327 cubic inch engine, but the owner, country star Alan Jackson.
Here's our number 675. Updated description here. Alan Jackson's 1967 Chevrolet Corvette convertible, Where Is Paul? Comes from country music star Alan Jackson's collection. Powered by a matching numbers 327 cubic inch V8 engine mated to a 4-speed manual transmission. The Corvette received a comprehensive restoration approximately 12 years ago. 1,000 miles since that restoration was completed. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, lot number 675. Alan Jackson's 1967 Chevrolet Corvette convertible.
Well, you better get a lung full, Rick, because we're over $100,000 already. 327, 250 horse, the base V8, but with a 4-speed, white over red, side pipes, and matching hardtop.
Yeah, hard to imagine. The 3-speed manual was still standard in Corvette. You paid another $184 for the 4-speed seen here.
According to consignor, this car actually had its full restoration about 12 years ago. Since then, it's had about 1,000 miles put on the odometer.
We often ask about celebrity ownership. Does it help drive the number? In this case, absolutely.
I love the N14 side exhaust, which were a factory option. There's that Corvette-only vertical AM/FM radio right there.
Well, it seems perfect that Alan Jackson should see his one-time owned car selling at Barrett-Jackson for $150,000.
We're halfway through our top 10 convertible sales from the inaugural Barrett-Jackson collector car auction in Houston, Texas. Don't forget to click and subscribe and make sure you give us your comments as well. So what made it to number 5? Well, it was in 1963. It was a Corvette. It was a custom. It was a convertible with 632 horsepower.
1963 Chevrolet Corvette custom convertible. This LS 427 632 horsepower powered custom Corvette has been driven just over 1,700 miles since it was completed. Finished in rally red. Carbon fiber 427 hood features a tuxedo black stinger stripe, and it's powered by a new LS 427 that produces 632 horsepower, dyno tested RS 600 5-speed manual.
300, 300, 10, 20, 30, 40, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, 70, I get a $80,000, 90, I get a $90,000, 100, 100,000, 160,000 on the internet.
Time for the number 4 convertible sale. We're going to dial the clock back just a year from 1963 on that last car back to 1962. Another Corvette. This one's a custom convertible with a nice modern 5.7-liter LS6 engine.
Now, lot 704 here is getting a lot of attention, as you can see, because it has all the DNA of a great resto-mod, a 1962 Corvette. Now, it has a modern chassis underneath it, all the luxury features like heating and air conditioning, nice modern electronically controlled automatic transmission. But the part that makes a resto-mod, and what can make it bring big money at Barrett-Jackson is the eyeball. And of course, this thing looks gorgeous, but when you open the hood and see the engine, look at this LS6, all dressed up, absolutely gorgeous. I feel like they need to put a speaker in here, and when you open the hood, like a choir of angels needs to start singing. It's just so, so nice.
$30, $20, $30, $30, $40, $40, $40, $40, $50 pounds an hour, and $60 pounds an hour, and $70 pounds an hour, $80 pounds an hour, $90 pounds an hour, $100 pounds an hour. Hey, you didn't make it, you're late. 130, 130 pounds an hour, $130, 130, 40, 135, 40, 40, 40, roll away. 140 pounds an hour, 140 pounds an hour, $140, 140 pounds an hour, now 5, 145, 50, 150, 150 pounds an hour, now 60 pounds an hour, 160 pounds an hour, 160 pounds an hour, all through 160 and 160. I got divers indoors in 150, 155, 155, now 60 and 70, 170 pounds an hour, 170 pounds an hour, you're out, 170 pounds an hour, now 170 pounds an hour, all through, and 170 pounds an hour, 165, and now 70, 175, 175, 175, 175 pounds an hour, now 5, and a half. You been? No, you're out, Jindar. I got 170 back in the skybox. You got to be 170 $175,000 down over again. 175 Peterson. 175. Put your hands together. We have sold for $170,000 in the Muscle Lounge with Peter.
Corvette resto mods are hot, and this is one of them, a 1962 Corvette that just hammered sold at $170,000.
This one had an LS6 small block Chevy transplant, big replica Halibran kidney bean wheels, a lot of work underneath, and the buyers responded.
Finally worked our way up to the top 3 convertible sales from the inaugural Barrett-Jackson collector car auction in Houston, Texas. And I love number 3, all luxury and a little exotic at the same time. A 2014 Bentley Continental GTC convertible. And this one, when it sold, set a new record. So let's find out what the hammer came down on.
A 2014 Bentley Continental GTC convertible.
Now, Bentley shocked the world with this when the Continental GT came out because it was a 4-seat, very comfortable vehicle that was capable of 200 miles per hour and cruising at that. This is the later generation and the convertible, but still a W12 engine under the hood, which was what made that possible.
You know, and Bentley, unlike Pontiac and Mopar, was not big on promoting their horsepower. This is one of the very few Bentleys I've ever seen which has an external engine designator, W12. They're getting braggy about this. Now, a little while ago, we saw a Bentley Azure convertible across the block. Similar year, built the same year, in fact. These are more mass-produced. Those were hand-built, but these absolutely put Bentley on the map with a younger, affluent clientele.
Well, remember, once Rolls-Royce and Bentley split up, they were in competition, and that W12 was something Bentley had that Rolls-Royce did not.
Well, the original sticker on this was $243,000. As of this moment, it is now the #1 seller of the day. We're at $115,000, the current bid on this 2014 Bentley Continental GTC.
This one has been well loved but little used, only 16,000 miles on the clock.
And probably adding to that sticker price is what looks like the Mulliner package. I see the stitching on the doors and the seats, also the Mulliner wheels. Really nice touch with the piano black wood.
Now, these are mass-produced again, so the body shell on this is made of steel, which is pretty pedestrian stuff in the realm of expensive vehicles, but the doors, only the fenders and hood and boot are aluminum.
Now, to save money, they started with a V8 version of this. So actually, the W12 in this model is pretty unusual, hence why I imagine it's bringing this strong price.
We got a phone bidder involved. We got a bidder on the floor. We're up to $132,000.
Note the way that the top stack disappears completely, and the top boot here is flush with the trunk. Takes extra money and a lot of extra engineering to make that happen, but the look is worth it.
Another nice touch is the Air Star. If you can see the vent in the seat up here, right on your neck, so you don't have to worry about if it's too hot, too cold. You can have the top down all year long if you want to.
What a great brand that is, Air Scarf. It sounds luxurious and expensive.
I thought it had stalled out around $130,000, and now we're up to $160,000.
200 mile per hour speedometer, and absolutely able to do it. All-wheel drive.
$175,000 for a 2014 Bentley Continental GTC convertible. Those folks had to go the distance.
Time for the #2 convertible sale. This one was a 1966 Corvette custom convertible. It's even got a nickname. It's called Blue Diamond. Very modern LS7 fuel-injected engine, and it rocked the block.
1966 Chevrolet Corvette Custom Convertible, nicknamed Blue Diamond. The 66 Chevrolet Corvette Custom Convertible Pro Touring Resto Mod is powered by an LS7 fuel-injected V8 engine with 5-speed TKO 600 Tremec Hurst manual shifter. It's undergone a no-expense spared restoration to show quality standards with only 380 miles since it was completed.
Our already 150,000 over the minute, including 200. 75, yeah, boy. 175 and 2. 200 down. 175 and 2.
Exterior paint to show quality standards. C4 custom suspension. It's equipped with 4-wheel polished disc brakes, 18-inch front, 19-inch rear intro wheels.
That's it. What's your turn in? 230? 230 is what you turned in. Pardon me. 240. Oh, you were 225. She's 30. 35. 235. 235 pound number. Come on, somebody get in there. 235. 235. So, Josh Lefevre, $230,000.
All right, we've arrived at the #1 convertible sale from Houston, Texas. Probably not a big surprise. It's a Corvette from 1962. It's a build by a guy named Jeff Hayes. 540 horsepower, completely custom, but sort of a resto mod look. And we're about to find out what it sold for.
This 1962 Chevy Corvette convertible is a custom build completed in 2017 by Jeff Hayes at American Speed Shop and was acquired directly from the Jeff Hayes by the seller in 2016. The drivetrain consists of a GM 540 horsepower LS3 hot cam crate engine with custom intake backed by a GM 4L70E 4-speed automatic transmission.
This is very cool. It has a 1958 toothed grille, which fits right into the opening, which did not change very much at all from 58 through 62. I love the Pro Touring. It's sitting on an Art Morrison chassis. It's powered by a 6.2-liter LS3 with a 4L70E 4-speed automatic, 9-inch rear axle, stainless brakes all the way around. Beautiful car.
Another Jeff Hayes restoration. Boy, he knows his stuff and knows how to stuff all of this modern running gear underneath an otherwise stock-bodied Corvette. Look at this number. We're closing on $250,000.
I love the red line radials in the front and back and how they work against the chrome rims.
All right. 245,000 sounds like a lot, but that doesn't even break into the top 10 of the sales right now at Barrett-Jackson.
Well, that'll do it for the top 10 convertible sales from the inaugural Barrett-Jackson collector car auction in Houston, Texas. Don't forget to subscribe to all of our Barrett-Jackson videos and make sure you comment. We want to know which convertible you liked and what other top 10s you might want to see. And of course, we want you to stick around and watch the next video, so don't go anywhere.